For this scene in Factory I/O, the sorting by height, a box is supposed to come down here and then go down this conveyor and stop on this square in the middle, and it's either going to be sorted as a tall box and go to the left, or it's going to be a small box and it's going to go to the right. And so I use Control I/O for this program. And so here I have the start button turning on the entry conveyor. And then down here I have the pallet sensor and the high sensor. And if those are both true, it's going to turn on this high-low box, which is, I think of it as like an internal relay for PLCs. And down here I have the pallet sensor and the low sensor. And I also have the high sensor as not. Since the low sensor is going to be on for both of these, I ended up putting in this part here saying, making sure that it's only the low sensor and the pallet sensor and not also the high sensor. And that's going to reset the high-low box, and so that's going to be not true. And so when we come up here, these two sections right here are focusing on transferring the box off of that little like weight station where it just kind of sits there. And so we have the high-low box here and the loaded sensor. And once those are true, it's going to transfer it to the left, because that means that it's going to be a high box, since the high-low box relay is only true when the box is high. And to reset that, I use the at left entry sensor. That way it doesn't keep the conveyor, or it doesn't keep the transferring left on. And then down here, this is for transferring it right for a low box. So since the high-low box is really only true when it's high, I put the not in here. And then I also have the loaded so that it will transfer it right when it's a small box. And then I use the at right entry sensor to reset it so that once it hits the at right sensor, the transfer station will go back down and it won't just keep trying to transfer it right. And then down here, I have the left and right conveyors. And so I have at left entry and at left exit. And that's going to turn on the conveyor left. And same with at right entry and at right exit, that's turning on conveyor right. And so putting it all together should look like this. And I had to keep pressing start. Because in my program, when it hits loaded, it resets. For this one, I can put the program up. And so it hits loaded and resets this. And then it transfers and the transfer turns off. And then it goes down the line. So if I press start again, it hits loaded, and since it's a low box, it's going to go to the right. And as you notice, I have the transfer parts, they come up, but then once the pallet and the box are off the thing, or are off of the transfer station, they go back down. And so that is the sorting by height scene for Factory I/O.